Hello, Lynn here. I am at a beautiful resort today, but I wanted to hop on and talk to you, do a little intro to this week's video. I am so excited that we have Melonie Cannon, that I was able to interview her and talk to her because she has such an interesting point of view. She's been using natural and essential oils for a lot of her life, but she's actually married to a doctor, a physician, and his first go-to is always going to be um, medicine, meaning Western medicine, right? That he wants to have a prescription, and she is always wanting to go the natural route. And so I've loved listening to her and hearing some of her stories of what she has done to care for their children and how she's been able to help her husband see that side of natural. And I was thinking of you guys this morning. Mostly I would love to help you guys see a way that we can use everyday natural solutions with our home and family that'll help us save money and get rid of a lot of toxins in our home. And so I'm excited to share this episode with you. And I guess one more thought I had was I'm so excited to be here with my husband this week as we are celebrating our anniversary. You know, there's always times in our lives where we can celebrate. And if we don't take those moments to celebrate, they just pass us by. And so make sure and take those times in your life that you have with you and your loved ones to celebrate. Hi, Lynn Gines here with you today. I am so excited to be gathering together with my friend Melonie Cannon. We have been friends for a really long time, but we want to answer this question of Eastern medicine versus Western medicine, and do essential oils really work? So Melonie, tell me, how long have we known each other? How did we get to know each other?
So I went to one of your classes 15 years ago or so.
Yeah.
So we've known each other a long time. Yeah.
So Melonie and I got really close because she would come over to my house and help me with a process called the aroma touch technique, and it goes up and down the spine. And she blessed my life for so many weeks.
Every week doing aroma touch.
At a time when I really needed it, and I'm just so grateful for that.
Every week doing aroma touch.
At a time when I really needed it, and I'm just so grateful for that. So now that we've talked about where we got, how we kind of know each other, let's talk about you and your husband and your journey on natural medicine. Is it something you've always been interested in, natural?
Not at all.
Oh, really?
Not at all, no. So we moved to Utah in the end of 2006, and one of my kids got hurt, like they fell down or something, and my neighbor said, "Hey, I've got an essential oil that will help with that." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And at that time, doTERRA didn't exist, and she had got her oils from Europe. And so she started teaching me about how to use essential oils. Usually when my kids got hurt or anybody was sick, they went to my husband. My husband's a physician, and he just took care of all of it.
Oh.
But that changed.
That
changed because of doTERRA. And then I was introduced to doTERRA at your class. And at that point, I had gathered from a lot of different companies essential oils from Europe, from all over the United States, different places.
You had a little passion for that.
I did. I took classes and I loved it. And so when I got to your class, I was like, yeah, here we go, another company.
What was I going to teach you?
Yeah, like another company, just like, oh yeah, it's just. And then I smelled the oils, and I'm like, I know the difference, because at that point, I'd had probably a couple years at least of study, and I was exposed to a lot of different companies, so I knew the difference when I smelled them and tried them. And yeah, I signed up that night, got the Family Essential Kit.
My top 10 oils.
Yeah.
It's a great place to start.
And so that was it.
Oh.
And I have had an order every month since.
You got to, I know, she has doTERRA like stashed everywhere. She's got her essential oils for sure.
Yeah.
So what drew you to essential oils? Did you see a difference when you were first offered it? Or?
It was empowering.
Okay.
Number one, to be like, oh, I have something as a mom that I can do. So not my husband having to go write a prescription or something else. It was like, I've got something right here in the cupboard, and I can help my child. So that was at the beginning, that it was total my motivation. and drive to learn. And I love to learn anything anyway, but that was it. Yeah.
Mm. You know, that I love the word that she used, empowering. We love to, one of my biggest goals is to help empower moms. I love to help empower moms and families to uplift and know that there's natural daily solutions, and we want to have those right at your fingertips for a healthy mind, healthy mood, and healthy body. So tell me this then. When you married, you actually married a doctor, right?
I did. He was a physician at the time.
And so you've always been married to a doctor, right?
Always. Only one.
And when I think of Melonie, I think of Eastern medicine directly versus Western medicine. And there was probably a time where you didn't always connect on that.
Oh, I have stories.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I have stories. Yeah. Do you want to hear any?
Yeah. Tell me what it felt like. Like, when did he always just trust you with natural? Was it always,
no,
let's go the prescription route?
No,
what does that look like in your home?
So we had young kids at the time. And so, well, let's start with ear infections, because we always had ear infections going on. We had kids who had to get tubes. Ear infections were
that was a big one in our family as well. A lot of moms deal with that one.
And my husband would he would diagnose it, and he would go write a prescription for antibiotics. That was the go-to. I think my oldest was on antibiotics all the time when he was little. And my youngest had an ear infection, and I was like, can we just try the doTERRA? Just
to your husband?
Yeah. And he's like, no, I'm going to get a prescription. He's in a lot of pain. This is a bad one. He had diagnostic tools, and he's all, these are bad. It's in both ears. This is bad. And I'm like, please just give me 24 hours. And he's like, okay. So I used lavender around the bones and melaleuca.
Otherwise known as tea tree, right?
Tea tree, yeah. And he diagnosed it at 12 hours. He looked and he's like, whoa, it's better. It's not as red. And I'm all, you gave me 24 hours. So give it 24. So at 24, I was consistent. I think that's really important to remember. You have to be consistent. It's not like a one-time shot. So every few hours, doing that, even in the middle of the night, going in, doing the application. And 24 hours, he's like, whoa, it's improved a lot. And I'm like, please give me 36. And he's like, okay, because he'd seen improvement. 36 hours, checked it, and he said, it is gone. And that was one of the first stories of when he was like, there might be something to this. Okay.
So there was no antibiotics used.
No antibiotics.
Essential oils.
Yeah. And another one, it was one of my favorites. He got really injured, a big bad cut. He fell off something, and he came home and he was bleeding. His whole leg was cut deep, probably like that. And his sock was full of blood and shoe, and he's like, I cannot get this to stop bleeding. Now this is a man who knows how to stop bleeding, but it would not stop. Wow. And I'm like, oh, I've got something. And I ran to get geranium. Now geranium is an amazing anticoagulant if you don't have it in your store, in your home store. And helichrysum, fantastic ones to have. And I'm like, let me just drop that in there. And he's like, what? You cannot put an oil in my wound. And he was laying on the ground, and you can't see from the video, but I'm waving my leg around. He was waving his leg, and I have the open oil, and I'm trying to drop it in, and I'm like, just let me. And he's like, no. But in that little tussle, I did get some geranium in, and 30 seconds stopped. This had been bleeding by that point, probably 45 minutes. And because by the time he got home, and he could not believe it. And really those two things were the turning point for him to let me do my thing.
But he's like, there really is something more to
because
this.
It wasn't like I believe in the oils, and I saw the efficacy of them. It wasn't like I was just, Matt, oh, here's an experiment on your leg. No, I wanted to, because it was an opportunity, but I also had the knowledge behind it.
Right.
To know it would work. This is something I've studied, and I just had to prove it to him.
I feel like all of us kind of go through that. And when we start using essential oils, I was the same way. Like, what are these little oils gonna do, and
Mhm.
and does it really work? And until I started having those experiences where I was saying, oh, this worked very quickly. You know, we call helichrysum liquid stitches. That's what we call it at our house. Go get the liquid stitches. Somebody's bleeding. We
Yeah.
need that. And you can just put a little bit of geranium or helichrysum, like I said. And I had to witness that for myself to see how quickly and what a difference it can actually make. So that's actually one of those that I feel like moms should have, even just a little sample size, something little in your purse. If you are one of those moms that are a soccer mom or sports, anything to do with sports, that one is really nice to have if you got a bloody nose or any of those situations.
And lavender. Moms always carry lavender.
You got kind of